Hello and thank you for watching. So today I'm looking at completing the wiring loom repair that's needed at the front right hand side. So I've laid out the new loom that I've got roughly in position. You can see the exposed wires from where it was cut, and just sitting below that's the new loom that's just sitting on top there. So I've got it laid out for the ones that it needs to go forward. So this is now the two, you'll see the two connectors down the bottom there, they sort of slip into place, and the in some brackets down there, and the connector there and there are the ones that come from the bumper. So the plastic covering is running up the side here. There's no connectors immediately as you go up, but I'm not sure we'll see in there are a couple of, there's one connector there that's missing. It's anything connected to that's obviously where the loom came away from, so that's obviously one locating place. And you'll see the sensor in there, the impact sensor, that's gone into place, and it's got a little connector that you can just see there. There is a hole just on the base of the headlight assembly where that piece is going to connect to, and that'll allow me to keep it in place. Working back from where it joins in the loom, there are some connectors on here, and I can see again up into the well here where they should be going, so I'm not sure the camera's going to pick up where they're to go. There's a wee white tab in there that has obviously come off the old loom, so I'll be reconnecting the loom to hold itself in place. So there looks to be space to get the connectors in place. They arrived today, a couple of VW connectors. So what I'll be looking at doing is cutting into this loom, the lower new piece, to expose the wires and join them in here. So I think I'll have to go at stripping back these wires first and see about getting them all connected into one side of the connector, obviously to decide whether they're going into the male or the female, and then obviously cut back these wires. I think that one wire has already been pulled out of this one, because I know there's a ground sort of cable comes back from down at the bumper, and I suspect, given this plastic is burst, that it's been pulled out of there. So I need to decide exactly what I'm doing with that. I imagine as I expose the wire from there, I will just want to feed it back into here and then do it back up. You can see from the size this is, the thickness at this point, hopefully if the camera's picking it up, the thickness it is at that point, I suspect that equivalent piece is actually all strapped in there, and I'll be able to not necessarily retain it exactly the same way, but wrap it up securely. But first thing I think to do is to expose this wiring here, obviously identify the wires that are needed. You can see a couple of other bits that are going off this that are not required. I think this one here, that's got the connector that's got the ABS and that, and this one here is for the headlamp. So these two strands are not required, and it's just this strand, and then obviously it breaks off further down to what's required. So that's what's required. Certainly need to connect it to the ground as well. So I think I'll start by opening this up anyway, checking exactly what I've got here, and then looking to start stripping the wires back. I've cut back the wrapping on this, and I can see that there's 4 earth wires go into here before it goes off to it comes back out and goes and gets grounded against the chassis. On mine I can see obviously just got 3 going into this and 1 coming out, so as I suspect the one for the ground for the going to the bumper has been pulled out. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see about heating this up. I'm assuming that the glue will just soften if I heat it, see if I pull it off and see how I actually go about removing that one, and I'll probably do similar on this on this one here, and that might mean that what I end up doing is taking this one off fully because it's split, and see therefore because this one here, sorry, is not split, that it might just be able to slip back on to cover over once I've joined back the wires back in. So I think let's see, heat it up, take it off first, and see how it goes, and make a decision from there. Slight change of plan. So when I strip back this ground, I found it all seems to be crimped together. So I thought it was easier just to snip off the ones I didn't need, and instead of connecting this in, I just leave this connected, and I can then fasten that up to the ground point. So that's probably going to work out slightly neater. I've then cut back, give myself plenty of length on these wires that are needed, and here are the connectors and their pins that need to be connected to. So just need to decide exactly how much I'm going to trim off, because obviously you can just about see there's going to be plenty overlap in these wires. Even once I've tried to route this up properly, I've got a guide here from this particular point. You can see where that one connects. I think it's that. There's a hole up there that connects it. Anyway, I do have plenty of overlap in the wires, so I'm comfortable that I'm going to be able to connect them together properly, and hopefully do a neat job, and one that functions properly. And having cut back the wires, this whole pile, of course, is what is not needed. So I'll keep that. Anyway, lots of different coloured wires. Never know, might need it in future. Lots of different connectors on it that could also be handy to reuse. But obviously not needed for now. I might take off some of this further plastic sheathing or that exists. I'll wait and see once I've got all the wires connected as to exactly how I want to protect it. I do have did get some apparently original supplier Volkswagen Audi wire sort of loom wrap, so it's not very expensive, so got some of that, and will be fitting it, but once I've got all the connectors on the end, which needs them to be cut back and connectors crimped on. So it's a few days since I recorded the first part of this video on sorting the wiring loom. I've put these sheathing back on to the ground connections on both. I taped them up, and I've grouped all the wires together as well, so that well, helps me guide for which connector I'll ultimately trying to connect for. So I'll keep them together on the when I put them into these connectors down here. I've got the male and female ends. So what I need to do is put these little rubber grommets, just see there, pop the rubber grommet over the end of the wire, then strip the seizing back, and then put this little super seal connector on, and then that gets fastened on with this crimping tool, which using that die set should crimp both pieces at the same time. So I'll get started on that now. Obviously this one's a female connector, it's male connectors on the other side, and they then go into the black plastic pieces to retain them and allow them to connect together. So I'll get started on connecting them up now. And as you can see, I've completed fitting all of the female pins here. Haven't fitted them to connector yet. I'm going to wait until I've done the male side as well. So you can see I started on the first one there, stripped coax, the sheathing back, put the rubber grommet on down as far as the end, put the pin into here, so it's easiest to sit the pin in where it squeezes in, and then feed the cable into it before crimping it down. If you try and just leave the pin sitting on the end of the cable as you move it in here, there's a good chance it's just going to get knocked off before it gets a chance to actually get set in the jaws. So it's just a case of putting this onto here and then crimping it, and repeat for all 14 wires. So I've got all of the connectors located. Now all the pins are in, difficult to see there, but you can see all the pins are in there. I just need to make sure that they're all pushed home, because some of these male pins particularly, you can see they're not quite as far in as others. So I just want to make sure that they're all at the right depth. Push these ones in as well. There's a little rubber piece sticking out there, suggesting that one's maybe not quite home. Certainly sort of works its way more or less into place. You can tell when you're pushing it in whether it's going to go or not. And once I've got them all home, then there's this little plastic piece that's sort of retaining one, lines all the pins up. It just slides in at the side there. So I'll push them all home and then connect that up, but I'm not going to put it in its final resting place until I've added the tape over the sides, also over the wires there, but that's not going to happen until I've tested it. So I'll get it pushed in, connectors put together, and then I'll put the front bumper back on, and test the lights and parking sensors, and you know, just well, possibly see as well if I can clear the error code on the impact sensor, and hopefully that'll confirm that all the wiring is good, and then I'll get it taped up and out of the way once that's known to be good, because otherwise I might have to have plan B, because I've actually get some extra connectors, slightly different style, because I was having trouble getting some of these pins located, but I haven't got them located. I shouldn't need them, but if I'm having problems with the wiring, then I might have to go for the alternative approach. Fortunately, I do have plenty of spare wire on here. It's not going to be tight, so I could lose a little bit of the wire that I've got and still be fine. So start with getting these connectors pushed into place, and then get them two halves connected. So hopefully now you can see that these pins are lined up. Once they're pushed in fully, the pink piece just moves slightly to the side. It just needs a little screwdriver to move it, and that then lines them up fully. With this side, once they're pushed in, you just see them down appearing at the bottom, and then once they're in so far, this pink, again, retainer, which went into the side, it pushes the right way across, and that then squares them up. So I should now be able to join these two pieces together, and that will connect the loom. Well, if I try and rotate it around the right way, because it's got it will connect. So push that home, and then I'll do a bit of testing on it. So it connects down here at the bottom. There obviously needs the bumper on to make the full circuit. Plan is this piece up here, that white piece up there, is to be well, I'll tape that to the side of the loom when I'm ready, and that will keep it up out of the way. That was the original mounting point for it, but with it seems as if it got the accident or that, or just afterwards it got pulled off. So these sort of things, they just pull out. You just got to be careful not to strip the plastic piece off, and it's reusable. And there's a further hole, I think, just along in the corner there, that I think I might use as well. I've got some of the slightly different size fittings, but again, I'll probably fit it there. It's just all to help to take the weight and keep it up there, although it will be kept behind the wheel arch liner. So it's taken me a bit longer to get all these pins lined up than I was expecting, but at least that's now fairly the wire loom repair hopefully complete, although still to be tested. So I'll probably show you the testing and some other checking of other parts on a later video. So as ever, thanks very much for watching.